I am so excited to be here for this month. Like, bring on the reviews. We're so excited. I just feel like it's been such a I will say, like, it's been such a mixed month. Like, some things I'm so excited for, and then some things I'm like, this was rubbish. So anyway, welcome back. Obviously we've got you back. We've got Katie, Miss Katie Allen.
Hello.
Back for the month of June, which I think is perfect to have you here for this month.
Thank you.
We've ended up recording on the 1st of July, which I actually think worked out so much better because we've been able to catch up on a couple of things to like then talk about it.
Exactly. And I've been traveling as well, so it works out that I can actually join in on conversations because I've been able to catch up. So yeah,
and you've been out and about as well.
Out and about.
Out and about.
Yeah.
What were you watching today then? Because they're all things we're going to talk about though, aren't we? Though
100%. Yeah. So it was TV episodes really.
Yeah.
So it was The Boys. Caught up on 2 episodes of The Boys, and then 2 episodes of House of Dragon, and then 1 episode of The Bear. So it's been one of those days. It's been a good catch-up day.
I'm just so excited to talk about House of Dragons.
I know.
I'm so excited. There was like no rhyme or reason to the order today. Sometimes I try and put them on order of release, but I think this month has been so hectic. I've just like written down what there is, and I know you've added some stuff, and we've got some little notes to be like. There's some bits I really haven't written much, but the bike riders was what we put number 1. I think because I was so anticipating this film, I wanted to put it up there, like because I've been to the cinema a lot this month. And it was
have you now?
Yeah, I've been a lot. So came out on the 21st of this month, but it actually was a film from last year. It was like went around in the film festival circuit, and it's taken a while for it to come out. So it had Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, Mike Fast, Norman Reedus. Mike Fast is very interesting that he's in this film. I think he is such an he is up and coming in the sense of like his popularity, but he was so good in it. But yeah, it's about the outlaw motorcycle club based on the photography book of the same name by Danny Lloyd, who's quite a famous photographer. It was so good. It was just one of them films that you kind of watch it and there's not really like a really big arching story to it. It's literally just these people's lives, and it's just so interesting, and I love the way it was filmed, and the character depth. And to say that Austin Butler obviously was quite known for Elvis, I think this is also one of them films where like every single one of these people, like actors, had to really become that character, which I just love. Like Tom Hardy had like a completely new accent, was like really weirdly Chicago, but he like played the same person as he always plays.
A hard man.
Yeah, and Jodie Comer's accent was so bizarre, but she like, because there's sound recordings of these people, so like they were able to like copy it. So
that's cool. I mean, yeah, I've not watched it, but I've seen it. Kind of reminds me of like Austin Butler's character, particularly. It kind of reminds me of like a crossover between James Dean and then it's like in the scenario of like Easy Rider kind of film, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you said you would give it an 8 out of 10. Was that right? If I remember that correctly,
I believe I did. I think I gave it. I think I might have given it 3.5 on Letterboxd, because I think for me 4 means I really, really, really like this film, and like I'm gonna rewatch it. 5 is hard to get from me, and I've only done 2 this year, I believe. I think I've done 2 so far, 2 5s. But no, it was. It's just an enjoyable film, and I will watch it again. I think there's something about motorbikes I like. I think I've just been I've been risen by a man who has 3 bikes. So I think it's just the thing that's in my realm. And obviously because it had Tom Hardy in, which me and you had a discussion because I found out because my dad was talking. So I knew that I was a distant relative of Tom Hardy.
Yes, right.
And something I've said, but my dad was talking about something or other, and then I worked out that it's my granddad's granddad. No, my granddad's great granddad. I think I said to you that me and Tom Hardy have in common. So it's my granddad's great granddad had a brother, and so he's gone down one family line and I've gone the other.
Yeah.
So because there's an article about my dad's cousin, because he's still owns a coal mine, and anyway, it's attached to the war. That's all I remember. So it's quite cool. But my dad obviously always watches anything with Tom Hardy in, which is quite funny because he's always like, "It's cousin Tom." I'm like, "Dad, it's like fourth cousin Tom." Okay.
Hey, just take anything.
I'll take anything. But he was great. But Mike Fast, I think last month we talked about the challenges. Obviously I know you weren't there, it was with Lauren. We talked about the challenges and he was amazing in that. And I think the fact that he was in West Side Story a few years prior, then he was in that and now he's in this. I feel like his face is just, he's coming so big on the screen, where he was really big in Newsbees on Broadway many years ago, and then he was also in Dear Heaven Hansen, I think. So like he's really known abroad, and he's like, you know, been up for Tonys and in all that sort of realms. I think it's so interesting when people go from Broadway to the big screen.
Yeah.
Shelter in place. Awaiting further instruction.
We can help each other. We have to get out of the city.
So we both, obviously, I think we've said this many times on the podcast, is like most of the people that I personally work in the film industry, and people I have as guests also work in the film industry, because this is our life, this is our passion. And Quiet Place Day 1 came out this month, which I worked on, which is really fun.
Oh my god. That's
news really funny. It came out in the UK, it came out on the 27th of June, but in the rest of the world it came out on the 28th, which is such a bizarre, it's never usually out in the UK first, so I don't know how that happened.
But I'm glad about that, because it is, you know, primarily a London film, although they had a New York unit, didn't they? But
yeah, for like 5 days. It was like the tiniest.
So that's hardly
like landscapes in New York. But no, and I was very privileged to go to the cast and crew screening, and I brought you along, didn't I, Katie?
You did. That was on the 26th, was it?
Yeah.
26th. So no, thank you very much for inviting me. We had a fab
It was
time.
the first one that we both went to, because we both started in COVID, didn't we? Like the industry, working during COVID, so therefore we really didn't get screenings. And then didn't you get invited to Sex Education? Was it Sex Ed?
I did, but it was like midweek again, which is the same with this, but I was working, so I was like, couldn't go, and it was all the way in London, which was a bit naff as well for the rest of the cast and crew, because obviously, you know, Sex Ed's filming down South Wales, so you know, it was a pain for most people, to be fair, to get to. So but yeah, it's actually ended up being the first one, because the others I've just not been able to go, so thank you.
It's all right. I was the same, because I got invited to Treason, and I was in the middle of working as well, and it was midweek, and because I think it came out on Boxing Day. And I think they ended up doing it on like the final Thursday that everyone would still be at work on a film set before we break up for Christmas. So apparently like no one went to that screening either. But we had quite a good turnout. Apparently a lot of people, because we went in the first screening, apparently a lot of people were in the second screening. I did hear.
Oh really? Yeah, because we discussed that, didn't we? As we were coming out like, whoo. But no, it was a good vibe. So can I ask then, so what you say, obviously you've worked on it, what was your role and how did you get to be in it?
So my role was production secretary, which anyone who has been production secretary or knows of people, it can be a mix. You can do a bit of travel. I did mostly contracts on this one. So pretty much every name that you see in the credits, I would have done their contract, got them on the unit list, got them all their information, made sure I checked their passport. But yeah, I did a bit of crew travel and accommodation, so just making sure people got accommodation basically for the night, or make sure they got a train ticket if we're filming anywhere weird. And Yeah, it is a lot of just kind of being on call. I think the best way to explain being in production is putting out those little fires constantly and not really knowing what you did with your whole day, because you'll suddenly be like 5 p.m. and you're like, what have I done?
What have I done?
Day?
But I've been so busy.
I've been so busy, because you like have to go and talk to people, you have to go on set, you have to like annoy people, like. But yeah, I really enjoyed that film. I worked with a really amazing production crew, and I kind of just got on it because I applied for a job and got interviewed and was very thankful to get on it. Paramount gave me some money for many months. It was great.
That's good. So how long were you on it? I'm just trying to remember.
I think it was a good 6-7 months, because I stayed with Paramount for another. I went straight over to another thing for another month or so, which won't come out for a long time yet, so I can't say what that one was.
Don't put your foot in it.
But I am known for being on horrors now. I think that's like my thing. That's my niche.
I love that. When you're talking about weird places that they filmed in, you guys filmed in, I should say, what was that? Was that around London still, or was it just?
Yeah. So obviously we know the film is set in New York. Spoiler alert, not filmed in New York. It was filmed in Leavesden Studios backlot, which was, we literally used the same set that was the Fantastic Beasts set, which also was set in New York but filmed here. So the Leavesden Studios is like Warner Brothers. I know it's Paramount, but they lease it out. And so like we mostly filmed on backlot. Some was in, quite a bit was in studio as well, so like all of that. And then we did film, I think we filmed on location for a couple of weeks. So we were in Canary Wharf for a bit, which is quite cool, because they just like make it look like it's I think it's like not downtown, like uptown New York. And like, so there's the bit where they're running, it's in the trailer, so I feel like I can kind of say, but like where they're like running around and like the aliens like breaking through the windows, that's all Canary Wharf. And then there's quite a lot of the Thames is actually, so like when there's the river bits, that's actually just the Thames near the O2.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's like they just had a massive boat, and like, you know, that was how that was done. It's like, it is the magic of cinema in a way, you know, because it's like, it's all to do with, you put loads of cars that have like the US police or their tanks, and change the number plates, make sure, you know, it's just dressing it all up. And obviously the actors are all got an American accent on, and that's kind of how we did it. But no, and then they did like 5 days in New York. So I wasn't on the New York bit, but like they just went over and literally did loads of landscape shots, and there was a couple of scenes, because there's in the narrative, there's a whole thing about a pizza place, and the pizza place is real, if I remember correctly. I'm like, do I remember this correctly?
Yeah, was it Patsy?
Patsy's Pizza, and it's real. So they had to get licensing and film that over there. So them scenes are New York.
Amazing. And I assume they probably hired like local crew to New York.
Yeah, so they had like a little New York unit, and I remember having to help with send over my stuff for them to be like, here you go. Over to you.
Joy.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. So loosely then, you know, you mentioned about the pizza being a kind of part of the plot. What was the plot? Because I understand that obviously it's prequel to the main narrative of Quiet Place. Yeah. So where does it take place, like in terms of the order of?
Yeah, so it is literally like, so there's Quiet Place 1, which is like in the middle, like a few years later, it's like in the middle of this new world. Then number 2 is like this really weird Godfather prequel sequel, which is like so cool. And so we kind of take Quiet Place Day 1 is literally that initial invasion of these aliens. So it's the same day as that's shown in the second one, but it's from the center of New York and has a few new characters, might have a couple of returning characters, and kind of it just follows these people trying to survive. It's literally a survival film. and with quite a simple premise, survive and try to get to safety. But instead of a family unit, it now kind of follows two other characters, and they're like, and a cat, which I've been seeing
Thank
a lot.
you. I was wondering when you mentioned the cat.
I'm seeing so much love for little Frodo. And I keep seeing people be like, oh, this cat. And I'm like, yeah, this cat was great. And then I think people have cottoned on that it was more than one cat. But I keep saying it was 3 cats. People keep thinking it's 2. It wasn't, it was 3. There was 3 of them. And they like dyed them to make in with some vegetable. They have put a little post out now saying it was vegetable dye. So it's very safe for them. And there's 3 of them. And they're all amazing. And I love them so much. They're all so cuddly. But they're really well behaved cats. It was crazy how they trained them. But yeah, so it's literally about these 2 people with this cat trying to like sort themselves out in this realm, and like it's just the learning things of you can't make a noise, and then like if you go under some water, you can talk a little bit, because as long as you're not as noisier than whatever noise is going on around you, the aliens will not come. But that's pretty. I can't really say much else.
No, I mean that's a good summary. I mean, watching it, I just enjoyed the story, because I did go in it like, oh, it's pretty cool. And I think there's a conception of that it's going to explain how the events came to be, such as the first Quiet Place film, which isn't necessarily the case. Like, it doesn't explain that much, but you soon forget that that's necessary because of these characters. And I really think particularly that there's hardly any dialogue, which is unsurprising for the nature of the film. How you can just tell what they're thinking, the characters are thinking, by just the simple little eye movement or flicker of their lips or whatever. It was really quite emotional, which I didn't expect to feel actually. Yeah.
Honestly, I think from seeing it from script, and then like seeing sets being built, and then like now finally seeing the final product, Michael, who was the director and writer, he also was the producer on number 1 and 2. He has done an incredible job, and I'm so like kind of like happy and proud of him for all these like good reviews coming out, because he did a film just before called The Pig, which had Nicolas Cage in it, and that's kind of given him some backing. And he's done other like TV series and stuff like that before, but this is like his first major big film.
His baby.
And I think working with someone who's probably now going to go off and do some, I've already seen that he's like got another film that he's filming with like Jodie Comer in it, like he's going to be amazing. But he had faith in his plot of following just simply these 2 people trying to survive and their kind of bond, and how they end up in this bond, where the originals obviously follow a family, which is also very emotional because of that family dynamic. But the fact that he was able to make you care about these 2 people surviving, plus the cat. And I've been seeing a lot of praise about the cat because so many people in these sort of stories have a dog, and this is like probably the first one where it's been a cat instead of a dog. Like, and it makes sense because a cat is quiet. They do know how to sneak around. So
tiptoe.
Little pitty patter. My cat's behind me. Oh, he's fast asleep. He can't comment. I do want to quickly say before we move on though that the actors were incredible. I am I'm a big Stranger Things fan, and we had to talk in private and in secret for quite a while over the fact that when I found out Joseph Quinn was on the film, and he was so nice. I think that's always one of the greatest things when you work with someone and they are nice. And I know it sounds so simple because we both have worked with big actors, and sometimes they are a bit standoffish, or maybe they can stay in their head zone, which I respect both, because at the end of the day this is a job. But Joseph Quinn was so nice. He came out of his way, he gave us the production trailer, some thank you gifts, and he always had his dad on set. He was just so sweet. He was just like, yeah, he was just, I'm looking forward to seeing, as same way as I just said about Michael. I think he has been signed up to some really big things coming out in the next few years, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Definitely.
And the fact that I worked with him so early on is going to be so cool. The other film, which came out literally a day after A Quiet Place, was Kinds of Kindness, which I know neither of us have watched, but I know you seem to love this director, because I feel like every time this director has anything come out, you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, no, I do. I would say my liking to him started when, because my research masters heavily. Well, I used basically his film The Favourite as one of my case studies, so I sort of done a bit of his research. But yeah, I haven't seen this. Obviously, I mean, it's just been released, and we've had busy schedules and what have you. But I'm intrigued. It seems though he's like in his same rhythm, like he's still got Emma Stone, and he's got his DOP, the same DOP, Robbie Ryan as well. So I think that it must be quite easy for him to just go from one thing to another, with using the same people.
Yeah, I've been seeing it advertised everywhere. But I think what I'm finding interesting about him is he obviously just had Poor Things come out.
Yeah.
Now he's got this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if I'm right. I know he's already got something in production right now that's also got Emma Stone in. That's all I know. He just seems a bit like a powerhouse, doesn't he, at the moment? Like, he's constantly churning out stuff. And he does pretty much always film in the UK as well, which is, quite cool.
But yeah, I'm intrigued to see it. I think Willem Dafoe's character looks intriguing. I really do like Willem Dafoe. I mean, he's had a busy month though, because he's in something else later, which we'll talk about. But
on the 14th of June, Inside Out 2 came out, which I feel a bit mixed about, because it's one of them Pixar do sequels, so it's not that I'm like dissing it, because that's what they do, and it's obviously kind of attached to Disney. I think it's just making the lore too complicated for me, because you have these emotions, like 5 emotions, I think it is, and now they've given her even more emotions, which confuses me, because that means when you go into the parents' heads, they only have 5 emotions. But now she has like 8 emotions, and I'm confused. And I haven't seen it. I will watch it.
Oh.
I just haven't had a moment to watch it yet.
Okay.
But also there's been, I think with the Disney, and therefore it kind of pulls in Pixar realm, there's been so much about their voice actors. I don't want to go too much into it.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing that they're not like, how back in the day, like, you always had like the biggest actors play these these characters in Disney films. This did happen with Inside Out, but for number 2 they've seemed to have changed, so like it seems to be over money. That's all I'm understanding. So in the first one, for example, Discuss was played by, is it Mindy Kaling, who obviously is known for
Mindy,
yeah, and then now it's another woman called Lisa Leperine, who's not just a voice actress, but like not as well like known for her face. I don't know. And then Fear was also played by Bill Hardner, and now has been played by Tony Hale. Which I just find like so weird, like going from 1 to 2 to like change these characters. But the main 2 who play Joy and Sadness are still the same voice actors. They're like the main ones that stayed. Everyone else has kind of been swapped out.
Yeah, that's interesting. It'd be interesting actually to compare the voices, if they sound similar or even try to sound similar, or if they've sort of taken their own sort of creative freedom with it. But yeah, I'm intrigued to watch it, because it's one of my guilty pleasures. I loved the first one. I saw it in the cinema when it came out, and I cried. And ever since, I've had sort of an emotional connection. Who doesn't? I suppose that's what the whole point of it is. But
Yeah, I just don't know if I can watch it because it made me cry, the other one, and I think I've seen that this one's quite sad again. So it's like, oh, do I want to go through this? Have you been seeing the popcorn holders? Right, actually, just going to go on a side tangent right now. So I don't want to say it was because of Taylor Swift, but I have noticed that these popcorn in Odeons and stuff have become a proper big thing, that every time there's a big film they bring out like a popcorn. Things like in Dune they had like the wormhole that made
which was a little bit suggestive.
And now for Inside Out they have like, it's like a ball, like the emotion memory ball, and it has a little light in it, so you put your popcorn in it, and I'm like, I just think it's so cool. But at the same time, after I've only bought the Taylor Swift one and I've made that into a plant pot, I don't really know what I'll do with any of the others. So I'm not going to be paying £15 every time I go to the cinema just to get a new popcorn bowl. But I did quite like the design on this one. I think, like some of them are quite simple, like literally just a popcorn bowl with it on the side. But I think the fact that they've made it into the memory bubble thing that's in the film, I think it's quite cool. You wanted to talk about I Am Celine Dion.
Yes.
I've only been seeing little clips. So it came out on the 16th of June on Amazon Prime. Yeah. You've watched it. I have not. I will say it's probably not something I'm going to end up watching.
That's okay. But for all the Celine Dion fans like me, I had to add this because as a little girl, like my three queens were Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, and Mariah Carey, and I would just constantly just change over my CDs, on loop. Arguably, I probably listened to Celine the most, but anyway. So when I saw that this was coming out, obviously, for those that may not perhaps know, but she came out a few months ago saying she has been diagnosed with different person syndrome, and then she's going to have to withdraw from a tour, which actually I was looking at getting. And Liv, I'm not the biggest person to want to go on watch people on tour. It's just not my thing. But I actually really considered this. But anyway, that's by the by. It's basically, this documentary was set throughout I think it was filmed over a couple of years, to be honest with you, which again, didn't know that was happening. And it was really interesting, not only if you're a fan of Celine, to just have a bit of peek behind the curtain a little bit, because it seems like she's quite a private person, but also the awareness of actually the illness that she's got. It's really scary what she's got, and to think, such a powerful woman, like in her voice and so influential, and actually how the disease is making her not be able to sing so well, or sometimes not even sing at all, and seeing that struggle, it's just so sad. I wanted to add this on the list because I think it's a good watch for people that are fans or not fans, and just think, might find it interesting to watch.
Yeah, I do like a little documentary about an artist. I think, you always get a bit of an insight. There's been one that's come out on Netflix as well about Nickelback, which was kind of interesting, a little bit boring at the same time. Like, I like a little bit of Nickelback, and it was basically just about their hate, and it was a little bit like you were kind of waiting for, so why was there so much hate? And it was just, they just got uncool, and it's like, well, why though? There was no answer. I think that was, but the Celine Dion, I'm seeing a lot of clips of like the shoe situation with her saying like she was like, I will make the shoe fit. And she just loves shoes. And I'm like, that is quite relatable. I think if you did have a lot of money, you would end up being like, I just have all the shoes.
Yeah, and she went back in her like storage unit. It's a fucking mess. It's basically a warehouse, right? Of just all of her costumes and outfits that she's worn over the decades. It's very Kim Kardashian, because obviously she does that, but like
there is a couple, like, this is kind of our Netflix section, because I'm noticing every time we like do these little reviews, Netflix always seems to be a little bit of on its own.
Yeah.
But two films I want to talk about, and I'm going to say right now. Are we ready? Both of them were rubbish. They were both awful.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
Shit.
And as always, my disclaimer is amazing craftsmanship. Nothing against the crew. Amazing. I will even say actors amazing, but sometimes the script isn't it. That's where we're at. So the first one, I literally just finished watching about 2 hours before we recorded this. It's called Family Affair. Yeah, it's called Family Affair. It came out on the 28th of June. It's got Zac Efron, Joey King, and Nicole Kidman. It was just something that I put on because I thought it was an easy watch. It was the most annoying watch of my life. I was shouting at the TV quite a bit. It was a mixture between boring, frustrating, and also, is this a Christmas film? Question mark? Because it was set at Christmas and it was feel good. That confused me. I was like, what's going on here? So it's basically, I think this is probably going like, I'm going to tell you and you're going to be like, yeah, I would be mad too. So it's about a Joey King, who is Zac Efron's, can't remember the character names, Zac Efron's assistant in this world. Okay. So we're thinking about LA, California. Yeah. And his name was Chris, because it clearly was meant to be like Chris Evans, because he was like working on a superhero film and stuff like that. I was like, okay. So he was clearly, all of that, and she's his assistant. So she, he phones her in the middle of the night. It's like, can you go to the shop for me? He's very annoying. He was like going to promise her that she's been working for him for 2 years, and he said that he would get her to be associate producer at some point. He's never done that. They end up in a fight. And she quits and he fires her at the same time. It's like this whole thing. But he's like the most superficial, only thinks he's going to get papped, has like a chef and but no real friends. Anyway, so that's like that. So he then comes around their house and Nicole Kidman's her mum. They then start an affair. That's the story. Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman have an affair, hence a family affair. And
right.
I just the whole time. So Joey King's character is 24 and an assistant to this actor. So there's a lot of sets and a lot of stuff like that. So me and you both understand that. If my mum started dating my boss, who was awful to me for 2 years, we ended up arguing, and I kind of got fired/quit at the same time, and then just started dating him and not taking my side. I would be so mad.
Not okay. Yeah.
It's just not okay. And then what made me mostly mad was that in the end, Jodie King's character kind of ends up apologising, and is like, "I'm sorry that I was in the middle of your love," and I'm like, you weren't in the middle of anything. You were in the right the whole time.
Wow.
Anyway, she becomes producer at the end, and that also makes me sick because she's only 24. And I was just like, so moral of the story,
you can't
make your
just
mum
jump like that.
Yeah. So make your mum sleep with your boss. That will give you a raise.
Oh, I thought we're trying to get away from that stereotype stuff, but no, they're making it that it's okay. Because it was a mum. Yeah. Oh,
I think between this film and The Idea of You, there's quite a few films now that are about an older woman with a younger man, which I find quite interesting, which I'm not mad at. But
no, it's like Boy Next Door with J-Lo or something like that. I feel like that kind of started the trend. But yeah, I've not seen much about Family Affair at all. The only thing I've seen
just come out.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen is what Zac Efron's put on his Insta, and that's it, really.
Yeah. I do like Zac Efron. He did take the mick out of himself, so I quite liked him for that. The other film that came out on the 19th of June was The End That We Start From.
Do you want to go and have some dinner?
I don't know you.
I don't know you either. Could be a disaster.
Which is so disappointing for me because I was really looking forward to it. So it's got Jodie Comer, and that's pretty much what I've put because the main gal. She's like who we follow the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a bit apocalyptic. Like it's
Mhm.
and this is where I'm going to slowly say this is why I was mad. So the films technically came out in September 2023 for Toronto International Film Festival. So it's only just gone onto Netflix. So now this is why people have been able to watch it. So it's about a woman who she just gives birth as London is flooding. And then they have to get out of London, and it's kind of apocalyptic. So it's like there's been this massive flood, so therefore there's not a lot of food, and people have had to, they've not got houses, people have died. But I don't know if it just because it didn't have a lot of budget, it just okay. So Hitchcock once upon a time said that you can watch so you can watch his film in silence and you should be able to still tell what's going on. I disagree. I disagreed with that for a while because I think the most natural human thing is talking, even if that's in I understand like eye contact and stuff as well, but I think sometimes the way people say things can make them slip up. I think if someone's just been killed or something like that, you need to tell the person that someone's died. So there's all these like scenes where it's like this weird moment of them being like, oh yeah, so London's flooded, and they're also chill, and it's like, how you knew London was gonna flood, you are heavily pregnant, and somehow you're still in London. Like it made no sense. And then later on, her partner and her partner's fella, her dad, and mum all go to find supplies because they're slowly like running out of food and fresh water and all of this stuff. And then when they come back, they just have blood on them, and the mum's not there anymore. I understand that the mum's gone. That's pretty obvious, But it takes, I'm not even joking, it took 20 minutes for you to finally find out what happened to her. And I was like, this makes no sense to me, because it wasn't like, it was just all so quiet and like, so basically, sorry for the spoiler alert, but she got trampled on because people were trying to get food from the army trucks, and she fell and her neck got snapped. Horrible way to go. But it just really annoyed me that like, this woman has a newborn baby and she's standing there going, and she doesn't even go like, what's going on? What's happened? Why is the blood on you? It was just like them walking in silence, and she's like, okay. Like, I was like, what is going on? And like, I think there was just so much that we didn't see. We never heard the radio go. We never hear the TV go. You never get told what's going on. And then like a year later, they're just like, oh, we can go back to London now, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, how, if just London has flooded, would the whole world go, it went derelict. And I'm like, this wouldn't have happened in a year. Anyway. I watched two.
Unrealistic, basically.
It was just frustrating, unrealistic. Okay. Jodie Comer was amazing. I will she always steals.
She always is. Yeah.
Always amazing. Actors were all great. I do think the set designs and the costume designs that were there were amazing. It was just the plot, and I think I get that they probably didn't have a lot of budget to do like things, but I think we could have had verbally been told so much more. And sometimes it is just that hearing the radio in the background saying, evacuate London, like something. But they were so chill. They were just like, oh, so we can't go home. Your house is gone. And that's how you reacted. I can't go back home. We've got a newborn. I can't go back home. I was like, this is so annoying. Wow. 1 out of 5. If I could give it lower, I will.
Ooh. That's interesting.
I'll give it 1 just for Jodie. Okay, we're on to, I don't really know what to call this section, so I started calling it the gossip section.
Gossip!
Woo! It was just
okay, magazine.
It's just the little, these are the things that have been happening in the world this month when it comes to highlights, when it comes to showbiz and film and TV and blah. So amazing. Do you want to start with Gladiator?
Yes, please.
Literally today, which is technically not June, but like it's been kind of bubbling all of the month.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. We finally got the first photos from Vanity Fair, first look of Gladiator 2. Oh, this was a film I didn't know we needed, and now I'm so excited. It's got, first of all, it's got Paul Mescal, which I get it. I get it. He's not my cup of tea, but like I get it. It has Joseph Quinn, icon. He was great.
You get it.
I get it. A few original people coming back, and then it's got Pedro Pascal.
Daddy.
I'm so excited. I obviously sent you a photo of him today, and I was like, I literally squealed, and I sent you loads of voice notes because I can't deal with him. I feel like he is the protector of protectors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing. No word.
There's no words. There's no words. No, I'm so excited. I mean, I was no, tell a lie. I was a little bit apprehensive when I first heard about Gladiator 2. Then I heard of the cast, and I was like, oh. And then the pictures, I went on and saw them earlier, and yeah, no, now I'm even more excited. So I think it's I don't want to jinx it, though.
I think that's where we're at, isn't it?
It is exciting.
We don't really know what the plot is. We can kind of guess. We're pretty sure Paul Mescal's gonna somehow be a slave and end up in the same situation Russell Crowe was in. I knew it. I full on was like, Joseph Quinn is definitely gonna be a Roman, and like then he was, and I was like, icon. He's like wearing like the iconic, crown. His hair is different. And then Pedro, I don't know if he's going to be goody or baddie. I'm really hoping he's goody. I think he's going to be like...
I don't know. Do you know, he can do either or justice, I think. Usually he's like goody vibes, but I don't know. I'm excited. I love a good gladiator film.
Oh, I'm so excited. I will say I'm very proud of myself that for the last few months I've been able to talk about Pedro Pascal. Like instantly. There's been something every month that I'm going to be like, so the man did something again.
He can't.
Talking about the man, Taylor Swift.
Woo!
Such a bad segue.
That was a brilliant segue.
So Taylor Swift has been doing her UK leg, and obviously she's been doing this like tour for like nearly 2 years now. And I am wearing the shirt right now because I went to Wembley, night one, icon. But I think the only reason I just wanted to quickly talk about it was just because of how many people have been going, like celebrity-wise, and the fact that like Wembley was the whole moment.
Yeah.
So she's just finished Dublin Night 3 last night. So Edinburgh. The main people I've put is like the whole of the Outlander crew were there and cast were there, which I think is just so fun. But Wembley, I even had Wembley. So Wembley alone had the biggest star lineup. I think everyone came out of anyone who's here in the UK right now somehow made them that way to West London just to see Taylor Swift. So we had Prince William, Prince Charlotte. We had Tom Cruise, Hugh Grant, Mila Kunis, Paul McCartney, Sophie Turner, Greta Gerwig, Andrew Scott, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Nicole Kidman, Kate Blanchett. Like, what?
Queen.
Like, that one got me. Rachel Zegler has been like seen in the crowd. I think there's just so many other people who were there who actually there's so many celebrities who actively had to get tickets to go, weren't in the VIP tent. They had just had to get them and
I
go.
love that though. I really love that because it shows like even if they couldn't, because obviously you got very limited amount of VIP tickets, it shows that they've been able to like, so I'll get normal tickets. Like, they're obviously love of Taylor Swift didn't get in the way of, getting what they wanted.
Like Rachel Segler literally had the same sort of ticket as me. She was just in the standing pits.
I love that.
Same. That's where I was, girl. Dublin, obviously, we had Stevie Nicks. And I think that's like the main thing I just wanted to, like, Stevie Nicks was there. Like, how you know you've made it, Stevie Nicks goes to your concert.
But I mean, you messaged me yesterday saying, "Oh my god, I think Stevie Nicks is gonna go and sing with her because she left the VIP tent." And then you messaged me a couple minutes after. False alarm. She just went to the loo. I was just like, "Oh."
There's just with Taylor Swift, I clown myself constantly. There is like a theory that like every single day she's gonna announce something. She's gonna bring out a new music video, or she's gonna announce Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift the album, or Reputation the album, like her own versions. And so I think when we knew Stevie Nicks was there, and obviously she's just done a song called Clara Bow, which references Stevie Nicks in it, everyone was like, Stevie Nicks is going on stage. And then she just didn't. But it was so sweet. There was a video of Stevie Nicks recording it from the tent. She's like recording her singing Clara Bow, and then she sang You're on Your Own, Kid, for probably like the 50th time without even putting it on her set list. She keeps using it, and I think it's because it's such a popular song that I think if someone like Stevie Nicks requests it, you're gonna sing it. So yeah, that was something, and I could talk about Taylor Swift all the time. Like, I love her, and I've even made my mum a Swiftie. It's kind of I just love that woman so much. Yeah. Also, keeping with music for a little bit. Glasgow has literally just finished. Glastonbury has just finished. Not the greatest year for the lineup, I don't think. I think a lot of people are saying that. You know?
Yeah. Again, there are a lot of people turn up, like Tom Cruise.
Everyone we just said.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, oh, might as well go to Glasgow.
Yeah. You can tell it's a lot of them are probably filming around here right now. So they've all, especially like Tom Cruise, I'm pretty sure he's like doing another Mission Impossible or something around the corner. So
more than probably.
Yeah. So they all ended up at Glastonbury. I think it looked cool. I think because the lineup wasn't as strong this year, I've been watching a lot more of the, like, Nothing But Thieves were on, and I loved them. Their set was amazing. And like, you know, finding TikToks of people showing the other parts of Glastonbury, because obviously Glastonbury is as big as a small city, isn't it? So there's so many things. Did you know you can get married at Glastonbury? There's literally there's a little service bit, and I was like, that's now my new girl.
Hell. Is it like in a portaloo or thing, or what
can you imagine if it was a portaloo? No, it's like a little tent. Yeah, like a little.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, quite a hippie thing to do, isn't it? I quite like the idea of that.
Very. Yeah.
So
I watched much of it, to be fair. I mean, I obviously watched highlights of my queen Avril Lavigne.
It was so good.
Yeah. I saw people's reactions were great.
My mum was like, name Avril Lavigne's song. And I was like, do you know what generation I am, mum? Like, I was like, Avril Lavigne was the girl when I was younger. Like, and then I knew every song she sang.
Exactly. And so did everyone else in the audience.
Everyone knew her. I think I saw that she actually got a bigger crowd than the headliner last night. Which I think, oops,
big volume.
But there's definitely been an issue with the lineup this year. I think I've seen it's again a lot to do with money. Like Glastonbury isn't offering as much as other places anymore, so they're struggling to pull people, especially when there's so many people touring right now. Like, we literally just had Troye Sivan the other night in London on Friday night, so that means he's literally here. He wasn't there. Taylor Swift, as I've just said, is literally here right now. She was not there. Who else? There was some other few people that I thought of, like, they just weren't. It's like they're just not grabbing them, and I think but then they'll be at a completely different festival, and if it's to do with pricing.
But it's crazy though, because like Glastonbury's so expensive. Isn't it like one of the most expensive festivals to go to?
I know. And then somewhere else apparently, like, so Reading apparently can like pay you double what Glastonbury will be offering you.
No.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Something's going a little bit wrong then.
So like our queen, like Renee Rapp, is at Reading, but she wasn't in Glastonbury. So we're completely staying with music. I've just realised.
Yeah, same.
Okay,
Next.
so
Gossip.
next. Next. The Beatles biopic, which I think so. Do we need this? But I'm
I know.
excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, I messaged you, didn't I? I was like,
Yeah.
is this actually real? Is this happening, or is it just one of those?
Am I being led on?
Yeah. Should I
Am I being
speak out?
catfished right now?
Am I being
Like
catfished?
the Beatles?
I know.
Paul McCartney faking it?
What's happening? Yeah.
I know. It's the fact that there's going to be 4 films that's getting me, not one. The
I think
commitment.
I know. I think that's really interesting, actually. Like, because when I first heard it, I was like, excuse me. I was like, is this real? And then you're like, yes. And I was like, do we need it?
I had a fact
Probably
check
not.
in it. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to fact check right now, love.
I know. But the fact that it's directed by Sam Mendes, I think it's given me a lot more faith.
Yeah.
But
I love Sam Mendes stuff. Like, he is so good. This is why I'm like looking forward to this. I'm like, this is going to be something.
Mm-hmm. I know. Even though he was married to Kate Winslet and always be on Kate Winslet's side. However, I do love Sam Mendes as a director.
You're a child of a divorce.
I know.
Sam Mendes and Kate Winslet. I didn't even know that.
Did you not? Oh, back in the day, like, back in the day.
Oh god.
But yeah.
It's like Tim Burton and Helen Bonham Carter all over again.
Yeah.
Stuck in the middle,
Just
like
the non-gothic version. It's clear.
Oh, it says here that it's Sony Pictures.
That makes sense though, because they own the Beatles music, I believe. That makes sense. So I was wondering if it was going to be that. Then I saw Apple, so that's why I was like, question mark? I'm very confused. Okay. That makes me feel a bit more comfortable then.
So
okay.
do we know the whole cast yet? Because I've only seen, is it oh my god, is this going to be the 4th time or 3rd time we've talked about Paul Mescal so far? Paul Mescal has been
He's trending. He's
trending. So he is, not only is he in Gladiators, not only did he go to Glastonbury,
he's having
he is Paul McCartney. Is it Paul McCartney he's going to play?
Yes. Paul is going to play Paul.
Simple.
Easy way to remember
easy on set. That is so easy.
Paul. Yeah.
Paul needed on set. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I wonder though if it's going to be similar to the situation with Bohemian Rhapsody and like in the Roger Taylor and Brian May had involvement and what have you. Whether because it's just the 2, isn't it? Paul and Ringo that are alive. Is that right? Yeah. So I wonder if they'll have. I'm sure they would. I'm sure they would have creative.
Well, I hope they do it well though, because I love Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, as a British film, it's amazing. I watch it constantly. It's so good. But as a Freddie fan, I still think it does a really good prediction, like, of him. It wasn't completely factually correct, but as a filmmaker, I understand that you do need to change bits around to make a narrative structure better. And give you a bit of flair. So I do hope that they, we don't get everything blamed on John Lennon or something because he's not around to argue. Just like the band broke up because of him, and
Yoko.
Well, might be correct.
Yeah.
But he's not here to say his opinion.
No, exactly. But no, I'm intrigued, and I'm sure we're going to speak about it for many, many months to come.
Okay, so there's also, well, this isn't even like it has been an announcement, but I when you told me this, I thought it was like an announcement that they're making it, but it's more that it's been made and they're now putting out the photos, right?
I had not known about this.
My dyslexic brain. What's it called?
I know. I'm not very good at pronouncing either. Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Yeah. So it's often for those filmies people, like it's kind of like the OG of horror. It's often classified as the original because it was made in the 1920s. So quite a few years ago.
OG, like
the OG.
Cinema
the OG.
has only just become a thing.
Yeah. So the fact that they're doing a remake, I mean, it's like, is it needed? But having said that, there's been so many remakes of Frankenstein, and they've all been, you know, in their own right, masterpieces. So, yeah, I'm excited about this. And the trailer came out this month, and it actually looks really good. I'm actually really excited.
I've only seen the stills, and like I didn't really know what you were on about, but then when I saw the stills, I was like, no, I know this film. Like I was like, I think every film studies person has had to watch it, and also it's just some like this, like the costume is like very known. So I seen that it's written and directed by Robert Eggers. Is that how you say his name? Eggers.
I think so.
I want to meet him and be like, I'm Egmore, you're Eggers. And let's be a trick, like a little
scramble together.
Let's scramble together. But yeah, so they did The Lighthouse, The Witch, and The Northman. I've only watched The Witch, and I really enjoyed that. Really, like so good.
Yeah, I've got The Lighthouse on Blu-ray, and it's got Willem Dafoe in as well. So I'm excited to see him because I feel like he's had like the past like 5 years or so, Willem Dafoe, I feel like he's had another peak of just being in stuff. I love it. So excited. So I'm very excited about this. Very excited.
Yeah. Okay, and then the final little thing that we can mention is there's going to be a Freaky Friday 2 that's just started production, which has Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan back.
I know. Again, I didn't know this was going to happen. But I just saw the Instagram post of Lindsay Lohan, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I was like, Googling, is this true? Is this happening? Because those two as a duo is just like, oh, it can only mean one thing. Freaky Friday.
I do remember it being announced, but it was one of them. Until I see it, I'm not gonna like talk about it. So now that we know that, but Lindsay Lohan, we both adore her, and like I think her coming back so strong is just amazing. And I know she's found God in her own way, and I think it just shows how being spiritual and like, you know, connecting to something to keep you grounded just works so amazing. And Jamie Lee Curtis is an icon, and I feel like at the moment she's in anything and everything. Like she just makes it like 10 times better. Like it's great.
I love it. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I mean it's not going to be like fucking blockbuster, but it's going to be great, especially for nostalgia.
Do you think they're going to swap bodies again?
I know. Can you imagine if they made it but no one swaps bodies?
Well, no, I don't know. It might be like their kids, or like, well, not their kids, but like, you know, it could be something else. It could be like, doesn't it like allude to like the granddad and the brother end up swapping at the end of the film? It could be something like that. It could be someone else. Anyway, we won't know. We didn't know until the trailer comes out. I'm so excited.
You know.
Are we ready to start talking about mewing and yesifying?
I will try.
Right.
You might have to.
You haven't watched it. I've slowly started to make you watch it because you have. But okay, Bridgerton season 3 part 2 came out this month, so it came out on the June the 13th, and I literally had to like, I can't believe I had to wait a month to find out that ending, and that was the ending.
Not happy? Or
oh, it's so hard because you've not watched it. Am I allowed? How much am I allowed to say? Am I allowed to like? Because you know I wasn't completely happy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not that I'm mad. It's just that I'm disappointed.
It's even worse.
It didn't feel right. Like, I think they... Right, so we've got a new showrunner, and I do think that has done something, because they, like, tilted way into the fantasy of today, but then where before it was like Bridgerton was like the fantasy of this like Jane Austen era, where now it feels more like today but dress up. Like it doesn't feel like it's this weird, because like Nicola, who plays Penelope, I can't. Please forgive me for what I'm going to say, my girl. But she has like acrylics on like the whole time, and it was like the most gorgeous little like shiny, and I'm like, girl, this is not a thing for them. And I know that was more of a hair and makeup situation. Again, please don't crucify me. It's like I feel really, because we both have worked with people who work in this. I'm really scared of what, because I love Bridgerton so much, like I love it. Like I've rewatched it so many times, but it didn't hit for me. I don't think the two-part worked. I think we needed it all together because then it flowed better. I don't know if there was a lack of chemistry. I think there was chemistry. It was just, I think we needed to see them as best friends more, because I think because they jumped a book, and then so therefore the timeline has been moved down, where in the novel Penelope is like 27, and so therefore she is a spinster, and Colin has been her lifelong friend, and so them going into the friends to more than friends is really like a big impact. And even though they have technically been friends since they were children, I think him coming back and being a rake, like quote unquote a rake, and then suddenly going, oh, I think I fancy Penelope, just didn't work for me. It felt too sudden, and I think we needed maybe that extra season. So maybe they shouldn't have jumped, and that extra season of him coming back being a rake, and then I think the series would have worked so much better. That's where we're at. I don't. I think it's just sad because I was so excited and I haven't really got that much to say about it. It's just
meh.
Just meh.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm looking forward. Keep giving me Bridgerton. I'm not saying stop.
No, exactly. I mean, I assume there's going to be 8 seasons of the show.
Well, I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah.
I'm scared it might end up. I think worst case we might not get the younger two, but I hope we get all of them. I think one little thing that happened though that has been coming up a lot, I've been seeing it in a discussion on Instagram and TikTok, and even the author has had to put out a little disclaimer about it now, is the fifth book of this thing. One of the books is about Francesca. And in it is so a little brief, because obviously each of the books is like a little trope. So we get like marriage for convenience and arranged marriage, lovers, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, all of that. Francesca's is quite an interesting one because she becomes a widower, and she then ends up having feelings for her late husband's cousin, I believe. We have, sorry for the spoiler, we have been introduced to her husband and her next husband, kind of. So they've gender bent her second husband to a woman. And I think it's confused a lot of people, because some people it is pure, homophobia. Like, that's different. But for people like me, it's nothing to do that. It's more just her plot literally won't make sense with another woman. And I know the authors had to say, have faith, there will be a difference. But I think the story that happens with her first husband and then ended up with her second husband speaks to a lot of women, and I think the change just won't work. And I think, because they, with Bridgerton, they do play with the LGBTQ community, and I know they have said, but I think out of all of them, Benedict or Eloise are definitely the two that you can change that story a bit. But I think with Francesca, it's hit a lot of people's, like, hit them in the wrong way. That I can't remember her. But basically, her second husband is no longer a husband, it's a woman. And so we don't really know how that's going to work.
Right. I suppose that's, it just comes out of the blue, because I mean, I've only started watching Bridgerton. And I'm on season 2, episode 4, I think, something like that. And by that time I've really got a sense of actually, pushing queer boundaries essentially, with particularly Benedict and Eloise. And so you saying that they've gone with that storyline with Francesca is the Francesca story?
Yeah, it was Francesca.
Yeah, Francesca. I suppose it just seems like it's coming out the blue more than anything.
Yeah, and
especially when you've got that setup or assumptions with playing with queerness with the other two.
Yeah, I think because I don't want to like give away, because I know not everyone's read the books, what happens, but it's the out of all of them, her book makes no sense. It just doesn't.
Really?
But I think if the show, if the writer of the novels has said, I know what's going to happen, please hold it and see how it comes out. I'm like, I'm holding. Okay, I'll wait. I'll judge when it comes out.
Yeah, take it at face value. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I've just realised what we're on next. Okay, I need to get myself seated properly.
Yeah.
The Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne is not just a king or a queen. They are a protector of the realm. Now I find myself...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
The Dragons is back. Oh my god, I can't. So I literally had to wait for you to watch the second and third episode today. I watched the third episode today because, as we've said, even though the third episode did not come out in June, we are going to talk about it because why not? I remember I messaged you and I was like, the first and second episode just isn't really giving me much yet. Like, I was like, I'm enjoying it, but like, and then the third episode happened. It's so good. It's so good.
So good. Yeah, I mean, I was really kind of upset with myself. I think the first episode I spent watching it trying to remember what had happened. Like, I just didn't have the chance. I planned on rewatching the first season, but I just didn't get around to it with life and what have you. So I feel like I spent that with the first episode. Then the second episode I got warmed up, and then the third episode was just felt like, yeah, a lot of meat to unpack, basically. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Okay, really quick notes. First of all, I love that they've taken on the feedback from the first series that a lot of people were not happy with the wigs, especially when it came to the dreads and that sort of area of the wigs, because it looked so unrealistic and just ridiculous. They have done so well.
The girls look amazing.
Oh, are so good. Also, some people don't have wigs anymore. I think that's another change as well. So some people did have wigs, and now they don't have wigs because I think they realised, we can use their real hair. So I think Olivia's always kind of had her own hair. I think she might have had extensions, and she's still got extensions. But I've definitely noticed in this series her hair's not as big. It's like definitely down a bit. I mostly wanted to say about Jace, who they call him Jace. I'm trying to remember what his actual Targaryen name is. Anyway, his hair's real now. So his in the first series was a wig, and then he went to the north and then got the Jon Snow look, and now he's come back, and now he so that's
because I loved how they started the.
It was literally you just heard it.
Like you were
I think we both did it. You heard the music. Yeah. And I was like instantly on the floor, kneeling, like, I know no king, but the king in the north.
Oh, so good.
Oh, it was so good. So no, they even that, like, I think they opened it so well, and I think this series they really need to, start. This is going to go on for a while, like these stories, like, it's going to get intertwined. We're going to slowly, it's not really a spoiler because obviously it's 170 years before Game of Thrones, so spoiler alert, every single person's going to die at some point. But shocker, but they're not going to live 170 years.
No.
But like, we need to like start moving these people around. So like people who might have been younger are now going to slowly like step into it. So like with Jace and like like his betrothed and all of these like characters, they all need to like kind of start stepping into their areas, and I think that's why I think that episode 3 has done so well, because we're finally getting a bit of them, getting like a bit more of an insight of the younger people who are the younger kids who are no longer kids.
I know. Yeah, I mean, when we saw each other the other day, I was speaking about how I would just want more Helena, because I just find her character so fascinating, and her like ability, you know, and all of that, and I'm just obsessed. I think she's my I don't know. I won't say she's my favorite character, but like I feel like she can become one. Like she's one
I
to
think
watch.
even like us two are big House of Game of Thrones, House of Dragon fans, is even now I still get mixed up with names. Like I still will be like Rhaenyra, Aegon.
Oh, they're so similar. I know.
Like,
Because
they're
it's because of all the ancestral. It's just so confusing.
Someone, you know, the one with the blonde wig, yeah, them.
Yeah. I mean, even Alison got confused with which Aegon, you know, they were talking about.
Yeah.
So
yeah, literally. Oh, wasn't it amazing to see Millie back playing young Rhaenyra?
Yeah, I was not expecting
What a
that.
moment.
I was like, who was that? Who was that? And then boom, I was like,
They kept that secret. Oh my God. I didn't even hear a
They did very
rumor.
well. No.
I didn't even hear a rumor about that. That was amazing. And I think it really shows.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it shows so much about Damon's character, that he will do anything for her, but also he still sees her as that child. Like that was, you know, like he loves her deeply. And I think I was getting a little bit upset in the second episode that I don't feel like we saw that. And now I think we've seen it again. And I'm like, he is gonna fuck shit up for her. It's gonna be so good. He already has, but like you know.
Yeah. Also, I really enjoyed going back to Harren Hall.
Oh yeah, that was such a good, like the whole moment was just amazing.
It was quite funny. I'm going to overtake Harren Hall. Okay. Okay.
All right, got some food.
Yeah, there's some benefit.
Join us.
Yeah.
Same. Oh my God, I've forgotten her name. I'm gonna have to get it up. But can we just talk about Emma Darcy? Because I am in love with Emma Darcy. They are amazing. They are gorgeous. And can we just like the fact that in that last episode they were covered from top to bottom apart from their face, and they were still serving. Like it was just like it was a moment, even that alone.
I think I don't know how much to say or not, but I really enjoyed that last scene between the two. I think the dialogue was brilliant, you know, because even though you kind of think that you knew they weren't going to resolve it in that conversation. However, just, you know, talking about, you know, his father and the passing and everything, and then actually how they actually kind of left even more separated, which I find just even more interesting. And it's just sort of given more permission for both sides to just really just fucking go for it. And
yeah, and I think it's definitely mirroring what's about to happen, because I've definitely heard a rumor about what's happening in the next episode, because I think people have like kind of cottoned onto what the timeline is. And I think, you know, I think we're gonna slowly start getting upset, because I think people are gonna start, you know, it's what we expect, it's what we want from House of Dragons. But one thing that I didn't completely cotton on to until the end of the episode was Alis Rivers has been introduced, who was the one that you know, when Damon's kind of having that weird vision and she's like says something, so she's going to become a really big part, and that's going to be very interesting to see how that kind of comes about. So that one, I've been seeing a lot of buzz for that. Right, one thing I absolutely just love about the House of Dragons like fandom is that this has come out, obviously for the UK this came out like late last night, obviously in America it came out like 9 o'clock yesterday, but instantly there is so many TikToks and memes already, and they're so funny, and I think like Otto is constantly in like the realm, and now it's his son. Like I'm seeing so much already of like his son, everyone's like he's serving like the whole time, he's like eyeing up Cole like the whole episode. And then with the battle with the two houses in River Run, I've already been seeing people be like, we need a like a 10,000 word fan fiction right now about these two falling in love. Enemies to lovers, give it here now.
Oh god. I know.
Like, I will read that, please, thank you.
It's like Renly Baratheon and Loras Tyrell and Marjorie all over again.
I stop. I love when people like bring up things being like, how this person will slowly become this person because like that's their ancestor, and it is like, I think people forget like this is so fun. Like literally every single character is related to every single character. So I think a lot of people don't realise that most of the characters in Game of Thrones are Targaryens. Like in some way, like even Robert Baratheon, even if he hates them, I think it was like his grandma or something was a Targaryen, because it's how they marry people off and stuff. So I love it. I just love it. Also, did you see these? Because this has actually been confirmed by the director now that them eggs were Dany's eggs. But
they are.
They are. The director confirmed it. Yeah.
Oh my god!
But
that's literally day by day. I didn't know that.
I can't fully remember because I read the novel so long ago, but I feel like because it's 4, wasn't there? There was 4 eggs, and I think one of them is going to come in somehow. I can't remember if it hatches or if it's later on in another completely other story if it hatches, but there will be, because there was 4, so I think it will go down to 3, and then because of where they're going to go, that makes sense to the fact that that's where it ended up, and that's how someone was able to get it as a gift for Dany. So that's her eggs.
The eggs are Easter eggs. Do 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 do. Oh, that's literally made my day. Oh my god,
it's so fun.
I love it.
I think George R. R. Martin, I think the fact that he is helping with this show, the little details are so good. I think some people are like, well, that wasn't in the book. Well, the book is from scholars' points of view and like people who have overheard things and accounts, and it's been made by the maesters. And I think like how we've just had that scene with Rhaenyra going to the scepter and all that. That wouldn't be written in the book because how would they know that happened? So I think little things like that, like that slowly going in, I think works so well that he's like given permission for these moments, and he's like, yeah, that makes sense. That we've got to fill it out. And I think like the first episode alone was something like 2 lines in the novel, and then they made a whole episode around it. This is original. Like they just need to basically get these characters where they need to get, and then everything else they're allowed to do. It's just amazing.
Exactly. No, exactly. And I'm very excited. Can I just ask that, what were your thoughts about the spoiler alert about Otto Hightower being tossed aside for the hand and it's gone to Cole?
Do you know what? I literally, it's going to be such a side thing, right? So I read a fan fiction, and in the fan fiction, Cole was the hand, and I was like, I completely forgot he actually became the hand. I was like, fuck yeah. But no, I think Otto being tossed aside is very interesting. It's in the same way that like it sets off these political dynamics. And I think, I don't really know how it's going to go, because at the end of the day, I assume he's still going to stay on the green side. Like he's, they're the greens for his family colours. Like, yeah. I think his son's definitely going to step in a little bit. And but it was very clever at how he was pushed aside. And I think I've forgotten his name, Footman. I think Strong in it. He's a strong.
Yeah.
He's now the master of whispers.
Whispers,
That's. Do you know? If I was anyone, that's who I'd want to be. Because I feel like they don't. I'm going to say this, and then he's going to die, isn't he, in the next one? But I don't feel like they get killed off very easy. Like,
well, no, look
in
at
Game of
Varys. He
Thrones,
lasted so long.
He lasted so long because they just know everything. They're like, you can't get me.
Yeah.
I already heard about your plot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's weird. I think he's just jealous of Cole and all of that.
Yeah,
I'm just so looking forward, and I know that this series, in the next few episodes, we are going to start saying goodbye to some big actors and some big characters. Like, I'm a bit. Can I just say though? Right, sorry. Actually, we haven't. I was about to go. Oh, let's move on. No, we can't. I've still got 2 more things.
Okay, go.
Okay. What a jump scare. With Aemond. Number 1.
Yeah.
I've been seeing everyone go so bad. 4 inches soft.
He's a grower, perhaps.
No, 4 inches soft is great.
Yeah.
Come on. Realistically. That's great.
Yeah. But no, the thing is, right, so, yeah. With Aemond, I wanted to talk about him. We're kind of seeing him really vulnerable. I feel like that's almost kind of all come quite quickly. I don't know. But then again, he's always been mysterious, so you don't actually know what's going on behind.
Yeah, he's like always putting in his brain. He's not really saying anything. You're like, what's going on?
Always posing. Yeah.
But I think especially Aemond and Daemon both being slowly getting set up now, I think. No spoilers. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, also, did you know that they're the same name, but the D's been swapped around?
Oof. I didn't know
that. Yeah, he just moved the D from Daemon to the end, and that's Aemond. I was like, great. But I'm really liking the brothel bit. I feel like we're slowly getting to know the small folk, and I think with this plot, obviously the legend is that it slowly gets where no one can remember why we're at war, and the small folk just kind of like start taking sides because they're like, well, you took all my money, or like, you killed someone in the battle. And something, and and I think like the brothel situation, and then that girl who was obviously in the first series was in the tavern. That was a moment. I'm assuming she's going to somehow come back for some reason. Aemon and Aegon is a dick. Can't think of another word to say about him, but I have started reading a fan fiction about him, so that's interesting in my brain right now. There's some amazing fan fictions out there about House of Dragons, just to say, and I don't mean like smart. I don't mean like fluffy shit. I mean like people like going, what if? So the one I've got at the moment is, what if Rhaenyra firstborn was a girl and was actually Daemon's, and she was wed to Aegon. That's the plot. They are not happily married, by the way. This is not going to be like it's not fluff. It's not going to end up in fluff. This is like, but I love just changing the dynamic sometimes and seeing where it goes.
Yeah, that's interesting. One thing though, actually, before we move on, one thing I will say as well, I want more Valarian content. Like with the ships, and keep talking about ships. Why are they just always on the shipyards? Like, just come back from somewhere, and I don't know why they're northern.
Let's see where you're going.
I'm like, I want it in action.
Yeah, staying with this, did you know that them 2 guys were his bastards? I didn't know that, and that confused my brain, because I think one of them's I think it's the dragon sea smoke that's getting restless. I think he's gonna be claimed by one of his bastards. That's what I'm slowly thinking because of the trailer.
I thought that Raina was whenever she has her eyes on sea smoke. Maybe she might claim the fourth egg, perhaps because she's looking after them. I don't know. Unless it's the timeline.
I don't think so, because I think she's going off, but she will claim another dragon. I just don't know what dragon.
Yeah,
She's definitely going to claim a dragon, because I know that her title is the last dragon rider, isn't it? Like her official, because obviously, spoiler, and I assume you know this about like how like obviously dragons are going to start dying and dragons are going to kill dragons and blah, blah, blah. And like so like they'll slowly die out.
Yeah.
So and then obviously that's why we get to Game of Thrones where there's no dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm intrigued.
I don't know. I'm intrigued too, but I just didn't know that these two lads that we keep seeing on the ships are bastards of. And I was just like, this was not made obvious, and someone said it, and I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, really quick one. Have you been seeing the American Sweethearts, the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders everywhere?
No.
Oh my god, it was such an easy binge. It was so good. It was so good, and I think no, it was only like a few episodes, but it was so interesting to find out that these like cheerleaders in America, the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, are like the most recognizable and like the most well-known cheerleaders in America, and they hardly get paid anything, and they are like trained ridiculously, and like it was just all about that really. And these girls are amazing, and like, you know, like they're athletes, but they have to have the bodies of supermodels, and it's just the standards. And I think it's one of them documentaries that came out that I think they thought it was going to make them look really good, and it's made them look really bad.
Really?
Yeah, because everyone's like, why do these girls get paid nothing? Like, these girls get paid hardly anything, and they've all got other full-time jobs, and it's like, well, they are athletes, and you know, they do so much. They're on the whole game. They have to do so many routines. They have to learn like 50 routines. Surely you should just give them and how big they are, like the fact that they don't get a fair wage. Like, I understand that they're not going to get the same wage as like the American footballers, because they are like the ones winning and losing and all of that, but I think they should be getting a livable wage, not a part-time job wage.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know much about the sport, but you know, I from what I understand, it's sort of part of the show, part of the spectacle, part of, you know, you wouldn't expect them not to be there, sort of thing, almost like a referee kind of thing. And I understand referees get paid a good amount of money, so yeah. That's interesting.
But it shed a lot of light. It kind of reminded me of Dance Mums, honestly. It was that sort of like vibe, like body shaming, and you know, makes you wonder.
I love Dance Mums, though.
Everyone's being like, give me a tequila and I could do the routine, sort of vibe after watching it. I can't do high kicks for the life of me to do.
No, pull something.
I think we'll get really drunk one day and be like, let's do cheerleading. Anyway, okay, so we're going to move on to The Boys. Which the first 3 episodes came out on the 13th of June, and it's weekly, so I assume there's more than 3 episodes out now.
Yes, so I believe the most recent one that's gone, so the last episode in June was the 5th episode, I believe.
Okay.
So I'm up to date with that, but I believe have you not watched?
Yeah, I'm not up to date because I started watching episode 1 and I completely can't remember anything. I literally was watching it, I was like, I have no idea what's going on. So I'm going to have to go back and watch a couple of the last episodes. And I'm half thinking, did I even watch the last series? That's how I feel in my brain. And I'm half wondering, did I not get to the last 2 episodes or something? So I'm going to have to rewatch a couple of them last episodes to like catch up. But I did watch Gen V, so I am like caught up in that way. And I will watch it. I do enjoy The Boys.
But it's interesting because like, so they're kind of so 2 characters from Gen V came into episode 5 of The Boys, and
I was kind of expecting that because of how it was like left.
Yeah, but it wasn't
you
in your
spoil
face,
it for me,
which I liked. No, it's not really much of a spoiler, to be fair. It was just part of like a campaign thing, and then they showed up. So obviously Homelander sort of brought them in, but I'm enjoying it. And Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, he is such a phenomenal actor. I really am enjoying his arc. I'd say his arc, particularly last season and then this season, brilliant. You know, it's not just black and white, bad guy kind of thing. And there's lots of different storylines between the boys, the members of the boys, and thickening and stuff. Yeah, and there's Simon Pegg. He's in it more. He has quite an interesting episode, should we say? But it also, I don't know if there was like a conflict with schedules, but Huey, the actor who plays Huey, he's hardly doing stuff with the boys, I feel, unless he's not going to be doing stuff with the boys. I don't know, but yeah,
maybe it's like
that was interesting.
Come back later on or something.
Perhaps, yeah.
That's interesting because he's such a big part of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's still big of it.
Oh, okay.
With the gang, the boys. That's what I mean.
Oh, sorry, not as in.
Yeah.
I was like,
sorry, yeah.
This show.
No,
okay, so he's not doing much with the gang, the boys.
Yeah,
Okay.
Which I understand why, because of his dad. But I don't know. It really kind of feels slightly a bit more detached than just that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, I do need to watch it, like really catch up, because the last I really remember was obviously about the boy. Oh my god, there's too many boys at this point. The boy who is Homelander's kid, and then like that
Ryan.
whole situation I remember.
Yeah.
And then it kind of ends up with, I feel like this is what I mean. I can't even remember at this point like what was going on, but this series, the trailers and all of that, it looks so interesting, and I think just the way that they have integrated Gen V is just, I'm so excited. Also, what are they going to do with Gen V?
Oh god, I know.
Well, they have said that they're not going to replace him, so I don't know.
It's awful. But yeah, the boys, so far so good.
Okay. So you've also said have you watched the one episode of The Bear?
Yeah, literally before eating tea. What caught up on that? Like I said, you know, here, there and everywhere. Oh, Benji! Hey!
Sorry, my cat has just joined us.
Yes, I've only watched the first episode of The Bear for season 3. And I've written a note, long first recap. It was basically a recap ep. I was like, when are they going to start?
It was such an interesting way to recap, though, isn't it? Because it was like,
it is
completely new scenes and like a new way of retelling what's happened up until that point.
Yeah, but I just wanted to get into it as well.
Yeah. So as much as I enjoyed the artistic way that they did that first episode, I really don't want to like spoil it too much for you because you're about to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say series 1 was 3.5 stars out of 5. Series 2 was 4. Series 3 was 2 out of 5. Yeah, it doesn't hold the same elements that made us fall in love with The Bear for me. We're missing a lot of the fast-paced and arguments and family dynamics, and I just felt like so much of it I didn't care. And I think that's such a big letdown. And I think when a show does so good on a second series, and the second series probably has like gone beyond the first series, and then come back for the third series. Like I said, the first episode that we've both watched, I really enjoyed the way they recapped. But I will say that feeling of, can you get into it now, lingers the whole series. Like, I just felt like, can we just get on with it now? Like, it just didn't. I think the first series had like the rush of the original restaurant. The second series was such of the rush of them trying to make it ready. Getting it ready. And now I can't even tell you what's going on.
Yeah. So my impressions actually of the first episode, I feel like, I don't know whether wrong or whatever, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's setting up more of delving into Bear's mental health potentially. And I don't know, like, just because when you recapped over things in that first episode, a lot of his things, like his relationship with his job, was so unhealthy and so precise, but really not healthy.
Yeah.
And then it made me obviously his brother committing suicide, and then obviously, you know, his family dynamic isn't very healthy. His mum isn't necessarily mentally stable, etc. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, what have you, but I'm intrigued to carry on.
It's like amazing performances, you know. It's just there was a lot of, I don't know what's going on in this episode, and I will say there was 2 episodes that I completely zoned out. Like I literally was like, I don't know what's going on. So you might watch it and you might really enjoy it because you might really enjoy the way that they're portraying stuff, but I don't really want to like talk about it too much just because I don't want to, even though it's not like, you know what I mean, it's not like me saying Iron Man died or anything like that. It's still kind of spoilery to tell you. Okay, and I feel like this is where I am such a Marmite person, because I know I either absolutely love something or I really don't like it. So Doctor Who, I talked about it a little bit last month. So the air dates were the 11th of May to the 22nd of June for and they were out every Saturday.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 episodes and then I've watched the last 2 episodes. I didn't watch any of the middle. I just couldn't. Let's put it this way. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't watch it. And I ended up accidentally watching the final episodes. Oh my God, it's rubbish. I'm sorry. I'm just that person who's I'm an old school Doctor Who fan. It's not Doctor Who anymore. It's not. Like, it's just, it feels like Sarah Jane Adventures, and I loved Sarah Jane Adventures, and I mean this in a diss way. Like, they've made it 2 children. It used to be family with scare. Like, you should be able to be scared of the monsters, like the Weeping Angel episodes, and even like you know, the Cybermen. Like, you used to get scared of them. They're just stupid, and I don't feel like the dialogue's good. The Doctor, for some reason, is always scared. I don't feel like the acting's great. It just feels cheesy. I don't even know how I'd improve it at this point, apart from give it some more substance. Like just go back to the original formulas, and the fact that it's still the original writer has come back to do it just hurts, and it does make me wonder how much is Disney putting their finger on the pulse now of something that's so British. And I think, you know, you can't make Doctor Who more woke than it was. Like, for goodness sake, about 10 years ago we had some lesbians who one of them was a lizard, like, and one of them was a Victorian maid. Like, how more woke can we go? Like, I can't deal with it. So I just
completely.
It was just, the monsters were rubbish. The way that the Doctor never knows. Why is the Doctor in a new outfit every episode? Sometimes 2 to 3 times in each episode. Like, he has the same outfit.
Yeah.
How are we going to make an action figure out of him?
Yeah. Do you know which one to go for?
What do we go for? And I won't say he's camp, because people have been really saying he's playing him camp. Once again, Doctor Who has always been camp. Like, I'm fine with that. Like, Doctor Who's always been camp. But I think it's the fact that he seems to, like, be clueless all the time. I think that's what's annoying me.
Yeah.
Like, how he's not, like, an action hero as we used to love him. But
and like smart is. Yeah, I mean, I think we've discussed previously. I just don't feel compelled to watch it. I watched the 60th anniversary special, David Tennant, which then ended in, you know, Ncuti being introduced as the Doctor. I just couldn't stick with it.
Okay, should we finish with talking about My Lady Jane?
Go for it, my love.
I'm so excited. Okay, so My Lady Jane, I remember it, like, them talking about it somewhere, like it was a trailer came out and I was like, this is rubbish. But the amount of content coming out now about the Tudors is just, it's everything. And I think they're trying to, like, milk it for every little bit, because there's people like me who love the Tudors, and I'm like, yeah, give me Lady Jane Grey. Like, just give me her right now. Icon. She was a queen. I'm sorry, she was a queen, and I don't like the fact that we don't include her.
The 9-day queen she was known as, wasn't she?
Yeah, queen of like 9 days. Anyway. This version is completely fan fiction. Like, it is beyond fan fiction. It's like the Tudor dynasty, but then let's pretend that racism wasn't a thing, but then also let's pretend that magic is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow.
It's great. So I can't remember what they call it, but in the show there's like these, I can't remember what they call them, but they're basically shapeshifters. So the shapeshifters are outlawed, and then like it becomes a big thing in the show. So so it's like completely fictional events, and it's kind of meant to be like how Jane survives this situation. And so King Edmund, who obviously is on the throne, and he is sick, but it turns out that he's being poisoned by his sister Mary. And his sister Mary is horrible, but like comedically ridiculous in it. And what I really weirdly enjoyed about them is that all three of the siblings, as in Henry VIII's children, are all completely different skin colours. And I just love that, because it shows that they all had different mums. I don't know why, it really like tickled me, and I loved it. Anyway, we've got Emily Boulder, but I've never actually seen her in anything before.
No,
I did end up there was a tweet, and there was a tweet that made me end up watching this. So I follow Edward Bluemill. I'm probably butchered his last name. I follow him on Instagram because every time he's in something, I love him. Like, he's so funny. Like, he was in Killing Eve is the main thing. It's coming to my brain. And he was so funny, and he's so good in it. And I just find his Instagram so hilarious. But he put out a post about My Lady Jane, because it came out the day he put the post out, and he literally went, "Please go and watch it. I got naked." I was like, sold. I'll watch it for you, mate.
At least it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I think he, you could tell he has quite a few nudie scenes actually, but like not in there are sexual scenes, but it's not in a sexual nudie way. Anyway, so that's quite interesting. But yeah, them two were great, and he plays Lord Guildford, who marries Lady Jane Grey. It's the amazing, it has every single trope somehow with these two main leads. So we get love at first sight, enemies to lovers, arranged marriage. What else do we get? I feel like there's something. Miscommunication. That one's in there. It's great. It's he. Have you ever watched Lady Hawk?
No.
This is such a niche. So in like the 90s, when we had all them really cool like fantasies, like 80s, 90s, and then they all died when Lord of the Rings happened. Sorry, I know you love Lord of the Rings, but it's true. There was a fantasy film about in the date. I can't remember what way round it was, but it was these two people, and basically they were cursed. So like at night she was a hawk, and in the day he was something. Can't remember who he was. And it's very similar kind of thing happens in Lady Jane. So she might have married a horse. It's so good. It's so funny. And then like his dad is played by Rob Brydon, who we all love him.
I saw that. Rob Brydon. Lovely.
I loved the dynamic. I loved it all. It was so funny, and I think it kept me gripped with enough romance, and then the silliness. Yeah. Spoiler alert: King Edward is not dead. He is gay and in the woods.
So is the woods a metaphor for a closet, basically?
What? It was so good. It was so good. And it left it on a cliffhanger. And I was like, I feel like that was a risky move, because is there going to be a series 2? Like, come on. I don't know if there will be.
The thing is, okay. So, I mean, I messaged you like ages ago, didn't I? And I was like, I just had a deep dive about the history of Lady Jane Grey.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was just reading about her life a bit more in depth. And I was like, I really want to make a film about her. And then I Googled it, and then I was like, saw that this was coming out, and I watched it, and I was like, This is not the vibe I was thinking for her life. But I
You were like, I can't remember reading about this.
Yeah. That's
It's
not
one of them,
in
like, I
the
don't really
books.
want to like spoil it, but it's so funny I have to spoil it. Like, so like she ends up like she's about to be beheaded, for example, in like one of the episodes because of reasons, you know. That reason gets kept the same.
Yeah.
And she's about to get beheaded, and so then her husband's like, "Bitch, I'll get you on the horse."
What the fuck?
So they ride away.
What?
I was like, this is so funny. It's like, this is what I mean about it's like pure fan fiction. It's so good. Like,
Is it
I
supposed to be
loved
funny
it.
though, or is it?
Yeah, it's actually funny.
Oh.
Like, and there's a narrator the whole time, and that's
Yeah.
by Oliver Chris, who he's in. I don't really know what else he's in, but I know he's in Trying, because I'm watching that at the moment, and he's just so funny. Anyway, My Lady Jane, great, well done. Edward, you did market him very well by saying you were going to get naked. I watched it.
I think that's a good tactic.
It was a really good tactic, actually. He he was also in Discovery of Witches, and he's a I feel like he's ended up being a vampire like twice. He's one of them actors. Like, you can't see, like, you know, his name was Edward, so they were like, Colin.
Yeah. Sorted. We have to say that, huh? Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end. That's all I've got to say. I feel like
yeah, we've got a lot off our chests.
I feel like we did. I feel like this month has been so good.
Yeah,
like, so much has happened.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you so much for coming back and being on this.
Always a pleasure.
I was told off, so Lauren told me off for not doing this, so I have to do it. Please subscribe and follow me on Instagram. My username is the same on pretty much everything, on YouTube, on Spotify. It is Film Critic Life, and my personal is Livy May H. Both of them end up with a lot of filmed content. I am obviously here today with Katie Allen. What's your Instagram? I know it's Katie Allen. So you are Katie.Allen97.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
I beg my pardon.
That's all right. And I'm Livy May H. And like I said, Film Critic Life, if you want to keep hearing us two talk rubbish all the time. Once a month, but you come on it every other. So
yeah, that's enough content for people.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Beep.